Hey guys, lesson 13, homework help. Here we go. There's two representations. There's a function. It says the graph represents f of x, so that's the graph, and a table that represents another function that we call g of x. In order to answer the questions, we're combining two different representations. So there's an idea in this function that says, here we have a graph of a function, and here we have a table of values of functions that relate to each other. The best thing you can probably do is actually make the two of them go together. So if you say -4 is 0, where does that show up? We should be able to put a point. Boom, there it is. -3, -9, graph that point. -2, -16, -1, -21, 0, -24. I need to scroll up a little bit. Let's see. It looks something like, as I plot each of these points, I know I had to go off the page, but eventually I wind up with a picture that looks like this. So g of x as a table can also be represented as a graph if you plot the points and try to put some sort of a smooth curve through them. These two functions look very close together. One function, they both form U-shapes. There's a name for that. We'll talk about it in after Christmas break, called parabola. Two of the things you need to know about, though, from these in comparing them is, where's the minimum value of f of x? What is the lowest point right there? You might notice that it goes to a low value of -1, and that happens at -4. So one of the ordered pairs could be -4, -1. For g of x, the lowest point is right here, and from the table, that's not it. From the table, it looks like right here at -25, that's the lowest point. Wrong. 1, -25. So looking at both of those, also important because it's going to be used as we answer other questions on here. The minimum value of f of x, well, literally, that would be the -1. And then the minimum value of g of x would be the -25. I'll let you decide if that's a true or a false statement. However, there it is. That's your goal, is to figure out, all right, which one's lower? Is it f of x or g of x? The value of x, well, that's where the minimum happens. That's -4. The value of x for g of x, when g of x has its lowest value, that's 1. So you get to decide if you want to say which one of those is true or false. On the next page, it'll be helpful to have a Desmos up and running. So, well, no, not yet. I know that we're going to need Desmos in a minute. But with this one, getting a lot of emails right now. It's kind of irritating. The function f of x equals a times b to the x. It says a is less than 0. That's the y-intercept. So the first thing we should do is decide, of these four graphs, which one of these has a negative y-intercept. Let's see. That's negative. That's negative. That's out. That's positive. That's out. That's out. That's positive. Then it says to say b is greater than 1. What this means is as x grows, so that's, to the right, the function also needs to grow or go away from 0. So as we move left to right, the function needs to go away. That's getting closer. As we go left to right, the function needs to go away from 0. It's this one. The other one, the function doesn't go away from 0. It gets closer and closer and closer. And so because this function gets closer to 0, it's out. This one that gets closer, it gets further away. When b is greater than 1, the function has to get away from 0 as we move to the right, and that one does. It'd be really helpful to have a graph to represent the points of this table. So I'm going to open up a new window, and in this new window, we're going to search for Desmos, and we're going to bring up a Desmos calculator and see what we see. Really leggy. Not as leggy as it was before. This is the second time I recorded this episode. So table, I'm going to put the x values, -2. Sorry for the clicky clack. -1, 0. That didn't do it. Delete. -2, enter. -1, enter. 0, enter. 1, enter. 2, enter. Put the points of the table. I'm going to choose -1, enter. -2, enter. -4, enter. -8, enter. -16, enter. These points, they have a negative y-intercept, and they go down. This is the first option. So look right here. This one has a negative y-intercept. This one has a positive. This one has a positive. This one has a positive. So I guess just by eliminating those options, there you go. Hey, that's the bell. We're looking for a negative y-intercept, and then the rest of it should fit, and it did. Look at the points on Desmos. It totally fits. Thank you very much for watching. That's Lesson 13 homework help. Hope it's useful. Thanks for watching, commenting, liking, subscribing, pounding.